Oh, cool. Okay.
Cool. All right, sweet. Let's let him in.
All right.
Admit all. Cool. I muted you, Sharnay. Sorry. I muted everybody. So, hello, everybody. Welcome in. We're just gonna wait like one more minute to let anybody else who is wanting to join. So, um, yeah, this is the open house, the virtual open house for Raintree Ranch. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody keep joining. Um, and then, yeah, we'll just kind of go from there. In a minute, I'll start introducing everything. If you could just please keep yourself on mute. And if you have any questions, just drop them into the chat. We'll be managing the chat this whole time, and we'll have a time to answer everybody's questions at the end. So. So yeah, it's 7:01. We'll get started. So yeah, hey everybody. My name is Rich Krudner. I'm the Associate Executive Director here at the YMCA overnight camps in the mountains. So that's Raintree Ranch and Camp Marston. Um, this is for Raintree Ranch, which is our Western horseback riding specialty camp. It is a pretty incredible camp. Charnay and everybody who's always gone to Raintree says you come for the horses, you stay for the people. And the campers spend about half their day riding and about half their day doing traditional camp activities. And Charnay will go into so much more detail about all of this and tell you all about the incredible things that happen at Raintree Ranch. So I'm going to throw it over to Charnay, who's been our program director for this will be her second summer and your fourth summer on staff, Charnay. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Nice. And she's an incredible person. You'll notice she has a really cool accent because she is from New Zealand, is it? Or no, I'm kidding,
Almost,
Australia.
almost.
And yeah, so she's pretty incredible. So here is Charnay.
Thank you. So hi, I'm Shanae. I am the program director. As Rich said, I am going to share a presentation just to show you all about Raintree. Sorry, I did check to make sure it worked before I jumped on, but okay. Oh my goodness. I have the Zoom bar in the way, so it's not letting me click to play slide.
Oh, that is annoying, Charnay.
Yeah, it was like right where the thing is that you press. Anyway, so welcome to everyone. As I said, I'm the director at Raintree. Raintree is a really special camp. We are a horseback riding camp. We do specialize in Western riding, but we also have some teachers that like to teach English style as well. We are a smaller overnight camp. We typically serve around 90-ish kids a week, which seems like a lot, but compared to our sister camp, Camp Marston, we are much smaller than them. Um, we um, we put a lot of emphasis on our horseback riding program, as the name suggests, and we make sure that kids are learning all about horses. So a typical day at Raintree it looks something like this. So we feed our horses every single day. We give campers the opportunity to go and feed the horses once a week. The reason they only do it once a week is because it is very early in the morning. It's at 5 a.m. And then after feeding the horses, we do tack up. So in the morning at 6:30 a.m., we will tack up all of the horses that we're using for the day. So typically we tack up around 30-ish, 35 horses in the morning. And we use that time to teach the kids how to groom, how to put saddles on, how to pick feet, how to do all of these things, as well as there may be some first aid that gets done during tack up. So we use that time as a learning time, but also it gets our horses ready for the day. After that, our campers will go to flag raising inspiration. So this is just a time where we do raise both a Raintree flag and a US flag, and we might do some songs. We might do some like stretching, just getting the kids ready for the day. After that, we have breakfast. After breakfast, kids, we do 2 blocks, the morning block and the afternoon block. If your camper is at horses in the morning block, they will do traditional camp activities in the afternoon, and vice versa. So just depending on what group your camper is with depends on which they do morning or afternoon. Usually that flips throughout the week. So they're not at the horses every morning. They might do morning one day, afternoon one day. And yeah, so then we have lunch after that first block. Then siesta, which is just a time, it's about an hour where the kids can just relax. They might do some studying to work on their bolos. They might just, read a book or hang out with some friends, just some like downtime, so they can relax for the rest of the day. And then at 2 o'clock, we go into that second block, so either doing horses or camp activities. And then after that, we do a flag lowering and inspiration. So similar to the morning, but this one is we're kind of like ending the traditional blocks and getting ready for some dinner. Dinner is at 5:30. And then after dinner, we will do an evening activity. That typically can be anything from a campfire to a skit night to an all camp game, lots of different things, and we do something different every single night, just to keep it entertaining. And we don't want the kids to get bored. And then at 9 o'clock, we do showers and embers. So embers is where we kind of like reflect on the day and just get the kids ready and calm down for bed. And then lights out are typically around 10 o'clock. So our routing program, it's a super special routing program. I'm not sure that I've seen many in the country that are like super similar to us. So we are really focused on making sure that the kids, number one, are being safe around horses, but they are also growing in their experience with horses. So our routing program is very closely supervised by myself, as well as our head wrangler. And our head wrangler this summer, she actually was a camper, and she went through the whole program from 8, I believe she started at, all the way through to grade 12, where she went through the Pegasus program. And now she was a wrangler for 3 summers, I believe, and then she's going to be second year head wrangler. And she's incredible, but she's the type of camper that she learned all of her skills at camp, and so she is really amazing, and we're super lucky to have her on our team. And she is at the barn every single day, both blocks, making sure that the wranglers that are teaching your campers are doing what they need to be doing and being safe. And she's constantly mentoring and training them as well. We separate all of our campers into groups depending on their skill, not their age. So we will evaluate their skills on Sunday, first day they get there, and separate them into riding groups. So, you might find that you have in the most advanced group, there might be a 9-year-old and a 17-year-old. And that's okay, because we teach based on their skills, not how big they are. When we put campers on horses, every single time a camper gets on a horse, we're checking their equipment. We're making sure that their cinch is done up correctly. We're making sure that everything is where it needs to be. Everything is connected to keep them safe. And our ratios for campers to staff is 2 staff must be on the ground at all times when kids are on a horse. And we only have a maximum of 8 in a riding group. So it's 2 staff to 8 campers. We do require all campers to wear helmets and boots when they're around the horses. And we do require that everyone who is wearing a helmet must be ASTM and SEI approved. And so we do check helmets on check-in. In saying that, we don't require you to pack a helmet. We do have plenty of helmets. I think last time I counted, it was like 60 something. And we do disinfect them as well. So if you don't have a camper, don't have a helmet for your camper, please don't stress. We have lots of helmets. And our horses, we do get 44, and we lease them from a ranch in Scottsdale, Arizona. And we've been leasing these horses now for, I think we're coming up to 7 years this year. And so we typically get a lot of horses back that we've had previously, which is really fun because it means campers are seeing their favorite horse return, or we know what to expect when they come to us. And the ranch in Arizona is really, really cool. The horses are great from there. Something special that we do at Raintree is we have something called the BOLO program. So this is a horsemanship achievement program that has 8 levels, and it is completely optional. I'm yet to have a camper tell me they don't want to do it yet. But if your camper absolutely does not want to do it, that's fine. But if they do, we do get our campers to do 1 BOLO per week, and it doesn't correlate with riding groups. So if it's your first year at camp, you will do the first one, regardless of whether you've been riding since you were 2 years age. You'll do the first one, and then each week you can do a new one. And they increasingly get harder as the levels go up. So our first level is pretty easy. Almost all of us could do it without studying, but then our last one, it is significantly harder, and the tasks that you're required to do to pass that are quite hard, but we make sure that we're giving all the campers the tools they need to pass them bolos. So our ages at Raintree, we have one section that is just riders, and that is typically for anyone that wants to be riding 3 hours every single day. And the next one is our leadership levels. And so our first one is our CIT. So there are grades 10 to 11. That is very similar to the riders, except you take on more of a leadership role. So you're still riding every day. You're still doing all of the same activities as the rider group, but you're kind of seen as more of a leader in camp. The next one is our LITs. That is a 2-week program. You aren't guaranteed riding as an LIT because the program is focused on getting you ready to be a fantastic leader both in camp and outside of camp, and giving you skills that you can use everywhere, but also really fine-tuning your skills at camp as well. And then our last level is a CA, and that is a volunteer-based program. And so that this one is only available to our grade 12 or 17-year-olds, and you can only do this program by application. So applications must go to me, and then I go through and I'll interview and discuss the program with you. And this is a program where you will learn how to be a counselor and be a wrangler, and you learn a lot of skills that you can also apply outside of camp as well. A lot of our staff that went through camp as kids went through the Pegasus program. I would say almost 70% of my staff this year that I've hired so far have gone through every single level of the Pegasus program. So it's pretty cool. At Raintree, we have 2 lodging areas. So our first one is the ranch house. So the ranch house is the big building as you drive straight into camp, and this is where our boys will stay. And then up some stairs, I believe there's 51 of them, there is the bunkhouse, and there is also a drive as well. And that's where our girls stay. The bunkhouse is much bigger than the ranch house, just because typically we do get a little bit more of our campers are female as opposed to male, but that is definitely growing, and we're seeing a lot more boys come to Raintree, which is super cool. Where our ranch house is, this is where our campers eat all 3 meals. So our dining hall is that area right there. We do have to the left, we do have shades that go over this in the summertime, but typically there's a nice shade in there. There's a lot of tree cover in there as well, and it's quite nice. I like it. We do fairy lights. It's really pretty. And our kitchen for meals, they are really good at catering for almost all dietary restrictions. I think in my 4 summers, there's only been 1 restriction they couldn't do, and that was because there was about 16 on the list. So they're really, really good at catering for the restrictions. Our cabins, we have 2 in the ranch house for the boys, and then 6 up at the bunkhouse for the girls. And then our arenas, we have 3 arenas. 2 arenas are significantly bigger than our third one, but our third one is actually my favorite arena that we do riding lessons in. We also have a round pen, which we use for lunging. We might use it for campers to do some like lameness evaluations. We might do some bareback riding in there. So it's a nice little confined space. And then in our barn, we also have 4 pigs, 2 goats, 2 sheep, and I don't know how many chickens, but I think it's around 20. We just got a whole bunch of new ones. So it's around 20, I think. And they actually live here year round, which is super cool. So we do have them animals all year. So for our check-in, check-outs, check-ins begin at 1 p.m. on Sunday. And we require you to have your admission and health forms completed online on Camp Minder. And if your camper does have any medication, we ask that you bring it in the original packaging. And that's just purely so that we know what we're giving and it's very clear for us. And then checkout, we have the horse show on Friday. So the campers work on a horse pattern where they will do a little performance with their horses and their group. And that's at our horse show. And that begins at 2:30. And then after that, we will do our bolo award ceremony. So we give out for our bolo program, we give out little bolos. I don't think I have one here that I can show you, but we give out little bolos to each camper once they pass their bolo, and we do that in a ceremony. And we also give out a few different awards that are relevant to the week then as well. And then after that, we do a family barbecue where everyone is invited to come up and have some food. Typically it's like hamburgers or hot dogs and some watermelon, fruit, salad, stuff like that. And that ends at 5. So our pricing for this year, for our members, it is 1,170. Non-members is 1,300. And we also do offer a bus to and from Mission Valley YMCA to camp, to and from, which is $50 each way. If this is outside of your price range, what you were thinking, we do offer scholarships. So we are a nonprofit and we are mission driven. So we want to make sure that we can provide experiences like camp to every single person, regardless of their financial situation. So if this is outside of your how much you're able to pay, please reach out to myself or Rich, and we're more than happy to give you the links and the information for our scholarship program. And that is Raintree. So I'm going to leave this screen up because this is our contact information. That is my email there. And Rich's, Jamie, who's not on the call, I don't believe, unless he just jumped in, is our executive director as well. And then feel free to look at us on Instagram and Facebook. We try to update them very regularly and give you guys like an inside view of what it's like at camp. So would recommend checking that out.
Cool. So yeah, let's drop any questions into the chat here. We only have a couple, Charnay, and I'll read them to you. It's actually 2. I explained one of them, but I think you could do a better job. What is a bolo and what does bolo mean?
Yeah, so a bolo itself is actually like a little necktie that cowboys would use, and I believe they still do, and it's essentially like a little our bolos anyway, or a little round like plaque type thing, a little, I'm not sure how to explain it, but like a little plastic thing that is around some paracord, and so it looks like a little necktie, like a little yeah. And so we use them as like the award that you would get once you reach a certain level in the bolo program, and you get a different one for each level.
Cool. All right, now some questions are coming in. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And then let's see. One question here. I'm going to take this one. Are parents able to trail the bus to drop off your kid? You could trail the bus, but you could also not spend the $50 on the bus and just drop them off at camp. That's totally cool too. So yeah, the bus is there for your convenience because the drive up the hill is sometimes challenging, and I think that I always took the bus to camp when I was a kid, not here, but yeah. And then let's see. Are there counselors in the cabins with the kids, and are they full-time staff, Charnay?
Yes. So I probably should have mentioned that. have at least two counselors per 10 kids, and they do sleep in the cabin with the kids. We in the bunkhouse we will have two cabins in one because it's kind of like one big room, so there's four counselors in there with the kids at all time. They are full-time technically in the summer, but they don't work year round. So
Yeah.
um, our
They're what they're what we call full-time seasonal. So our staff, our seasonal summer staff, typically they're here in their breaks from college or they're young adults, like between the ages of like 18 and 25. That's like our typical staff member. And then we do have a team of our leadership staff who some may be on our full-time team. So we carry a full-time team up here of program directors like Charnay and our summer camp director, and then myself as a full-time director. But we also have like an outdoor education program that we carry about 20 more instructor level staff, and they may be here as well. So that is a great question. Let's see. Um,
I saw one that says, "Do you get campers from all over or mostly local to San Diego?"
yeah, go for it.
That's a good question. I feel like typically our reach is kind of like this side of Arizona and like LA. But we do get kids in San Diego, of course. And but we do get kids from all over. We have a camper that flies in from Australia every year, which is super cool. I know we're getting a few from, I believe it's Japan. I think we're getting like six or seven of them. And then we also get some campers that perhaps grew up in San Diego, but then they moved to uh, Nevada. And so they fly down as well. So
Mhm.
we do get a lot of locals, but we also do get a lot of people from all over as well.
Cool. These are two that are kind of what's the word? Um, Same topic. So let's see here. Can you describe the sleeping accommodations a little bit for us again? And then how are the cabins organized?
Yeah. So in our bunkhouse, we have six cabins. So we have one upstairs, two upstairs, and then four downstairs. And they are bunks in the cabin with bathrooms inside the cabins as well. And each bathroom has four showers, four toilets. And typically there is around 10 per cabin and then two staff. And we group our cabins by age. So different to the writing groups where we group by skill, we group by age and gender in cabins.
Cool. Let's see. If our camper is attending with a friend, can they be in the same riding group even though their skill levels are different?
Yes. We good question, and we do get this. If you know your camper and her friend are like so far separate in skill levels. Like we've got one that is cantering and doing 1 meter jumps, and then someone that's never ridden before. I'm definitely going to have a discussion with the campers about it because I couldn't put the lower one up. We always have to bring the higher one down, and so I would hate for that to impact their camp experience because they're learning things that they learned 5 years ago. So yes, but it's kind of dependent on each situation.
Yep. Good answer, Sharnay. Thanks. Um, what do we do when kiddos get sick?
Good question. We call home. If we call home and let you know. But we do have a registered nurse on site at Camp Marston, which we're on the same property. And we also have a health center unit leader as well. So every one of our staff is first aid trained, and so we can give basic first aid. And we will make them comfortable, give you a call, and if it's anything where we feel like they need to get picked up, we're going to give you a call.
Yeah, and like obviously, like our big thing with all of our parents is communication. So if you are not hearing from us, your child is having an amazing time, right? And so whenever we have kids who are homesick, kids who are sick, kids who are having any kinds of struggles, we're gonna reach out to you. We're gonna seek some advice and also let you know what our RN health center coordinator general experience tells us is going to need to happen, right? So sometimes kids do get sick, like they have high fevers, coughs that are persistent, things like that. And we do have to ask parents occasionally to come and pick their campers up, right? So do be prepared that if your camper is sick, you need to have somebody in the vicinity who's able to come and get them. It doesn't necessarily need to be you, but we do need to have the ability to pick our campers up in some way, shape, or form. So that is a good question. Um, Sharnay, what's family camp and how is it different?
Yeah, so family camp is something that we offer at Camp Marston slash Raintree throughout the rest of the year, and that's usually a weekend where they typically fall on a holiday, so maybe it's Mother's Day or Easter, where you can come to camp with your whole family. So we provide a camp experience similar-ish to summer, but it's a time where you get to experience it with your whole family. And it's kind of like a look in, but it's also a time away from the hustle and bustle, perhaps, of work and just being outdoors and getting to do some activities that the kids get to do in summer.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Check it out. Let's see. These two are also topical. Are there water activities for kids like swimming? And can you give some examples of the other half of the day, the traditional camp activities?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do at Raintree, we do tie-dye. So every single camper will do tie-dye. So that takes up some time for the kids. We also do we go down to Camp Marston and we use their swimming pool once a week. We also use their climbing wall and their archery range. We also do water carnival once a week. So that's typically, it falls on either a Wednesday or a Thursday morning, where the kids, we just do some like water games out on the AstroTurf for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. The kids also do things like team building. They'll also go on some hikes. They what else do we do?
You
It's
have an overnight?
yeah, they do a camp out. So Tuesday nights we do cookout camp out. So the kids will go and cook some meals with counselors over a fire, and then they can sleep out under the stars as well. When they're at the horses, typically we will give the kids the opportunity to like uh, wet down their head, or like if they want, they can go jump in one of the troughs so that they're not boiling hot at 90 degrees and they're sitting on a horse sweating. So, I mean, they probably still will, but at least they'll feel much nicer being cooled off. Yeah, some
Yeah.
arts and crafts. We do have PYP, which is a period of time in the afternoon where we will do some controlled activity choices. So it'll be, 5 or 6 different activities that the kids can choose what they want to go and do. Gaga ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine like the what's the word? Like the summer camp movies that you've seen with the kids, like when you were a kid, but they're actually supervised. So that's kind of what it's like. Let's see here. We have how are the cabins organized? Are they organized by age?
Yeah, so we organize each cabin by age. Typically, it might vary like a year or two, but there is never a huge gap. And so if you have 2 children that want to be in the same cabin, but one is 9 and one is 15, we're not going to put them in the same cabin.
Yeah.
9 and 11, we could we could chat about it, but 9 to 15 it is not. We want to keep everyone who is a similar age together.
Yep. Let's see. One question here is how do you suggest the children pack for camp? I'm gonna take it real quick there. I dropped a link into the chat. There is a parent guide there, and so there is a packing list in the parent guide. The thing I always say, there are numbers of stuff you should bring. Always pack more underwear and socks. I've always said that like the key to happiness in life is like dry underwear and socks, and like because I'm never happy if my underwear or socks are wet. So yeah, like just you know, underwear and socks. Obviously more than that, but yeah, there's stuff on the back end list.
And the things that you don't mind your kid coming home really dirty.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely don't pack your nice Jordans, like your nice things. It'll be a week of like getting dirty and having fun outside. Um, let's see. And then we got a couple of questions about Marston. Do the Camp Marston kids and Raintree kids interact? Um, the answer is a little bit. Like Raintree is definitely its own distinct, unique experience, and but they do come down to Camp Marston to use some stuff. And when they're at Camp Marston, they will interact with some of the kids who are around. We will not shun them or be like, "Look away, it's Raintree." But yeah. So I mean, there will be minimal interaction, but for the most part, they're two distinct camp experiences. And like if I had a camper at Camp Marston and at Raintree at the same time, I would not count on them seeing each other. So, and then, but do the camps have the same drop-off times? They absolutely do. And then what time is wake up and what time is feeding? Wake up on feeding day.
Yeah. So wake up for feeding is usually depending on how quick that counselor thinks she can get all of the kids down to feed. So my guess would be 4:57, 4:58.
For a five
Um,
o'clock feed.
and
Yes.
they'll typically go down, they'll put their boots on, they'll go down in their pajamas and then walk back up and go back to bed. That's what typically happens. And then depending on if they're not feeding, they can choose. So tack up is at 6:30, and so again they'll probably wake up 5 minutes before 6:30 to walk down to the barn. And then for tack up, if they don't want to go to tack up because it is optional and all they need to do is let the counselor know they don't want to go, and a counselor will stay, or they'll be in a cabin with other kids, and they'll wake up around 7:30.
Um, Oh, this is a good one. Are they able to wash and dry clothes here? I'll take this one real quick. So, we do have a washing service available for campers who stay for more than 1 week, right? So, we don't wash clothes regularly for like campers who are only here for a week. If we have things like accidents or like bedwetting, accidents, things like that. Obviously, we will wash the clothes and take care of them. We're not going to send you home that kind of dirty laundry, but we will send you home just regular dirty laundry. And if we have a camper who is staying for a holdover, so doing more than 1 week at either camp, so Raintree or Marston, or even going from Raintree to Marston, like having a transition like that, we do have weekend or we have a service where we'll hold the campers over the weekend. There will be a bunch of campers hanging out. We do all their laundry for them and they have like a really chill, fun weekend. Um, and yeah, so long story short, we don't just wash clothes for 1 week, but we do wash clothes for a longer experience and in the case of accidents. And that I don't see any others. Um, I hope I didn't miss one. I don't think I did. Um, but yeah, if we have any more questions, we could drop them in the chat. And if not, Sharon and I are going to stay on for a little bit longer, answer any additional questions. If somebody wants to stay and has something that they don't want to talk about with the whole group, we're here. But thank you so much for your time and attention this evening. If you have any more questions, our emails are right up on the screen, and we are really excited to we are really excited to have y'all here this summer. It's going to be an amazing summer. Charnay is getting hiring so many amazing staff, and we're really pumped to have everybody out here. So thank you so much. Oh, do these camps fill quickly? Good question. And answer is yes. Raintree does fill up, especially our weeks in the middle of the summer. So our shoulder weeks, like our first week, actually sometimes does fill, but like our tail ends of the summer, like weeks 8 and 9, don't always fill. But yes, they do fill up quickly. I would totally get signed if you're thinking about it. Give us a call. We'll talk to you about it, but I would definitely get signed up, especially if you're looking for some like middle of the summer, kind of like prime weeks. They will fill.
I think week
Um,
2 is already looking like halfway there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So. Do you need something special if you book both camps back to back? Oh, you don't need to do something special to book both camps back to back. Just go up onto our website, go into your profile, and you can book both of them. So just it'll be just book one and then book the other. So book Raintree first. It feels faster.